So, you took the SAT or ACT and you're not happy with your scores. Or maybe you skipped out on taking the exam, like me. You are ready to apply for college, but prefer not to submit your SAT or ACT scores. What do? You could apply for a test optional or test flexible school. What are test optional and test flexible schools? They are colleges and universities that do not require students to submit their SAT or ACT score to get accepted. If the school does not require you to submit an SAT or ACT score, what do they require? The school will pay close attention to your college application, focusing on your GPA, achievements, and accomplishments as the deciding factor for accepting you. What is the difference between test optional and test flexible schools? For example, test optional schools accept students based on their advanced placement, which is the AP, or International Baccalaureate, the IBO exam. In other words, they give you the option to submit other exam scores. Test flexible schools, on the other hand, are more flexible and may require a student based on a minimum GPA and their essay. So each school has their own set of rules and requirements before accepting a student without their SAT or ACT scores. So always contact admissions to find out what they are before applying. Keep in mind, most schools require you to submit your SAT or ACT scores to apply for their merit-based scholarships. Now let's take a look at the online cam. I'll show you where you could browse through a list of test optional or flexible schools at FairTest.org. All right, so FairTest is all about quality education and equal opportunity, and they are working to end the misuse and flaws of the standardized testing system. And so they've created a searchable database of schools, and it's more than 1,000 four-year colleges and universities that do not use the SAT or ACT to admit students. And I can totally agree with this concept because I didn't take the SAT or ACT, but yet I excelled in college. And the headline news, the affluent scandal of celebrities and wealthy parents paying for their child to get admitted into top colleges and universities. I mean, this goes to show that these scores don't mean anything if affluent families aren't playing by the rules. So I'll be showing you how to search for a four-year college or university that does not require an SAT or ACT score to get admitted. And if you click here, it says see the searchable database of schools. These schools that are listed, some of them will look at a student's overall background and what they've accomplished and achieved as opposed to an SAT or ACT score. Or in my case, I attended a college and a university that didn't ask for it at all. And I didn't have one to give. I just took a placement exam so they could determine which English and math college course level I should be placed in. So you'll notice there are numbers next to some of these schools. So this one right here says, this is a number 6, and it says a placement test or school-specific admission exam is required if you're not submitting an SAT or ACT score. So it's kind of similar to what I was saying in my case. You take a placement exam so that you don't have to submit your SAT or ACT score. And here, number 3, it says SAT, ACT may be required, but it's only considered when you meet a minimum GPA or a class rank. So they may exempt you if you're at a certain GPA or class rank instead of submitting an SAT or ACT score. It says SAT, ACT required for some major programs. Number 1, it says SAT, ACT used only for placement and or academic advising. So they're going to only use it to place you in a certain college course level, like an English or math course level, instead of using it to admit you into the school, and also use it for academic advising from the counselor. So what I would do, if you find a university or college that is listed here and you would like to attend, I would ask admissions or an academic advisor one simple question: how do I get admitted into this school without an SAT or ACT score?